Hey, welcome back. It is a Freaky Friday indeed today on Liquid Lunch. We're here in the Question Tequila Studios in downtown Manhattan. We're coming to you live as we do every day, 12 to 2, Monday to Friday Eastern on NEWSMAX. And joined again in the studio today with my dear friend and co-host Frank Morano, typing away effortlessly. What's happening?
How are you? I can actually type with my eyes closed.
You can?
Right? Yeah.
No, you
I
can't.
mean,
I
can.
Okay.
What do you want to see?
After the show, let's
okay, we'll do a demonstration.
We'll see if we can do it.
All right. Well, somebody that can do these rallies with his eyes closed is Donald Trump. He was in Dallas yesterday, as we've been telling you, and he was slamming my least favorite candidate for president. Actually, I'm not sure who I like least, if it's Beto ORourke or whichever Castro is running, Fidel or Raul or Dennis or Joaquin or Julian. Which one is it? Do you know? You don't know either. Okay.
So I'm watching,
it's one of those guys.
I'm speechless because, I'm sorry, Frank. I'm speechless because I don't know why we're even saying the name Beto. He just made it so clear now that he's in the race to be a joke. Okay? Yeah. His two key points that he's come out with are, yes, emphatically, I want to take away your guns. Ridiculous.
Well, so the president slammed Beto ORourke for the gun issue.
So here we're with the president.
And religious freedom. Well, let's take a look at what the president said as he unloaded both barrels, pardon the pun, on Beto ORourke.
A very dumb Democrat candidate for president, that's the end of him in this state, pledged to revoke the tax-exempt status of many churches and religious charities. And by the way, that was after, a few weeks ago, he said, excuse me, we're going to take your guns away. That doesn't work well in Congress. And I called him right. Remember the flailing arms? Nobody noticed it. I noticed it. The flailer. You remember he was flailing all over the place. I said, why is this guy hot? John Cornyn's going to win so easily, just like Ted Cruz won. He's going to win, no matter what happens.
Well,
I mean, to me, he's classic genius. The way I love when he takes his pauses and he like steps back from the podium, like puts his hand up, like you know, and then he comes back in for another blast.
All right. Well, he also, as you might imagine, went after the guy, one of the ringleaders of impeachment, Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff. And you're going to really enjoy this if you enjoy the president's unique commentary on his political adversaries.
Let's hear.
This was President Trump saying that he'd like Congressman Schiff to appear before Congress. Have a listen.
I want to get him before Congress, and I want to see what he has to say. You know, they say he has immunity. Why would you have immunity for outright fraud? Why do you have immunity? Why? He's a fraud.
I think that's a legitimate question.
It is. Immunity from what? What would you have immunity from? You're not subject to criminal prosecution if you're the chairman of a committee of Congress?
I think that's
that
fair.
Doesn't make sense. Apparently, they think the president of the United States is more than eligible to be prosecuted. How many cases are they, you know, they don't let the guy govern in the first place. But do we have the shirt? Do we have the Adam Shifty Schiff shirt?
We do have the...
From our boys over at Badass Apparel. They make the coolest, kickingest shirts that, you know, they don't exactly take up the liberal point of view. They take a more moderate point of view. This is one of their shirts.
Don't be an Adam Schiff for brains.
Exactly.
I like it.
What do you think, Kyle?
I think it's clever.
Is that well seen on TV? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Right? They left us a whole bunch of cool shirts. Thank you, boys.
By the way,
but, I might wear it one of these days.
For people...
I don't disagree with the shirt either.
For people who watch this show and think we only showcase Republicans, coming up next, we are going, or very shortly, we are going to talk with a Democratic candidate for Congress who is a Democrat from that bastion of all conservative places, the Bronx, New York, okay? I think Donald Trump got about 5% of the vote in the Bronx, maybe a little less. So Councilman Fernando Cabrera, he's been an elected official here in New York for about a decade. He has really gotten a lot of attention this week by announcing that he's going to be taking on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in a Democratic primary. So we've talked with a number of the candidates running against AOC. We had John Cummings on. We had on Rich Valdez, who's been toying with running. But realistically,
Rich Valdez has not announced his candidacy.
Right,
he's announced that he's seriously considering it.
Realistically, I think that the best chance at beating Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would probably be in the Democratic primary.
Yeah, that's where a defense has to be mounted. An offense has to be mounted. So. I'm not that familiar with the councilman, but is he a declared candidate, or he's thinking about it?
He's as declared as you can be.
Well, then we got to hear from him. And
he's the guy that Walker Bragman was taking shots at the other day for not being totally against rich people.
Someone said, I have no capacity to remember whom on this particular day, that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So he may be our guy.
Well,
maybe
also,
we have to. That's why we're purple people. Sometimes we gotta root for Democrats who are better than the alternative.
And viewers around the country may not appreciate this, but here in New York, a big issue is the front page of most of the newspapers the last 2 days is the decision by the New York City Council and the mayor to close Rikers Island.
No,
I mean, think of this. Think of this.
What was his vote on it?
He voted against it.
He voted against.
Right. He was one of only 13 council members to vote against closing Rikers.
Let's not get into city council politics.
No, we're not. But people should understand
our friends like Freddie Mac out in Michigan, they don't care about the New York City. You know what I'm saying? Our loyal, maybe they do. Well, people are probably tuning out immediately because of our outfit choices, particularly mine. But I'm not diminishing the good council.
All right. Well, do people care about Syria at all?
I think a lot of people care about Syria.
Well, a guy that made clear he cares about Syria yesterday was Vice President Mike Pence. He went to Turkey, and he went with the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and the two of them announced a ceasefire with Erdogan. Let's go back in time 24 hours to Vice President Mike Pence. This is what he said.
We told the Turks. Oh, I was going to do the voiceover for Mike Pence. Run it again, Rose. Let me tell you people what happened. Here's what happened. Oh. Okay. Voiceover for Pence.
My wife was.
You don't get it?
Well, I do get that. It didn't sound like Pence.
No, that's why it's called a satire. You let the viewer know it's obviously not him.
But it didn't. It sounded a lot like John Tobacco, though. It should have been a little different.
Doing his words, that's all. I was reading back because I could hear it in my ear, but the viewers at home maybe can't hear it.
My wife was tuned into the program yesterday, and she said, "I immediately knew you guys were at a different studio because I could see and hear everyone." That's how you know we're back home.
Our friend Freddie Gray, the assistant editor of The Spectator, we had him in here from The Spectator USA.
Feel terrible about what happened to him in Baltimore.
He wrote an article on The Spectator recounting his visit to the U.S. for the launch of The Spectator magazine. Do you have it, Frank? He wrote about his appearance on Liquid Lunch, and Frank's making fun of, sometimes, we're not right there on the sound and the video and all this other stuff. But the guy wrote a quite pleasing piece about his experience here. Nico, you have it? It's on your phone. Let me just read this to you, because this is what The Spectator wrote about us. He said, to generate buzz, I did various TV and radio interviews, or hits, as American media types call them. My favorite appearance, with the U in favorite, was on NEWSMAX TV's Liquid Lunch, which is presented by the wonderfully named John Tobacco. The show was filmed in a rinky-dink studio on Broadway. Mr. Tobacco is a proper New Yorker, an Italian-American from Staten Island, Wall Street veteran who tips cryptocurrency and other investments, always with the caveat, don't take financial advice from me, do your own homework, and remember, when I'm talking about stocks, I'm also drinking alcohol. His words, I loved him, We talked Meghan Markle, Trump, Robert De Niro. He said De Niro's a joke. During the break, the producers brought out 2 frosted martini glasses. Mr. Tobacco fixed cocktails in a shaker and said, "Let me toast you, my friend." He said as we came back from break, we are colluding with the UK right now. Fantastic piece. And our rinky-dink studio made it into the Spectator. So
well, I like it. It's
maybe
convenient
we
for me.
ain't so rinky-dink no more.
We're moving on up. We have national political figures with
we
like
should have a
Councilman
Jefferson
Cabrera
segment.
here.
Moving on
Let's
up,
do it.
you know? All right. Coming up next, Councilman Cabrera is going to talk to us about his strategy to take down Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I want to know who these people are that voted to close the biggest prison in New York City. Liquid Lunch back at you right after this.